Hello. Hi. Hi. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the third episode of the Clinical Waste Podcast, where I'm clinically insane and this is a waste of your time. All right. Now, today I want to talk about my favorite thing ever, being a I was going to say fatty, but then I wanted to say faggot, and I just said nothing. I'm talking about today being plus size, and I want to share some really personal and deep stories about being plus size and just being a really fatty girl, really obese, sexy boy. Just throw out all the terms like that. So, if you didn't know, let's do a body reveal. Body reveal. Hey. If you're listening to this and you're not on video, then you can't see how good I look, but hey. Anyway, if you didn't know, I'm a big boy. I am plus size and I have been literally all my life. And that's come with some challenges, as it probably would. And it's not just diabetes, lol. No, it actually is funny because I have diabetes, but not because I'm fat, just because it's hereditary. So, yeah, I want to talk about being plus size and just touch on some things like clothing and some experiences and some stories stuff that I've gone through. So, let's first talk about plus size clothing, all right? Or the lack of plus size clothing. So, I've always been fat, and as a young kid, like between 5 and 10, it's not that bad because you can normally shop in the kids' clothing, but then when you can't, you still have the normal adult clothes. So I was like in primary school, and I was wearing adult size clothes, and I remember in high school and in the last year of primary school, grade 6, you would have those shirts with everyone's names on the back. You know those shirts that you get in either year 6 or year 12 with or a jumper, that sort of thing. Anyway, we had polo shirts in primary school with everyone's name on the back. And the biggest size they had wouldn't fit me, so I had to get mine custom made, custom ordered, which sounds cool in theory. I got custom made jewelry for me in primary school. No, but I had a custom made shirt. And for some reason, the shirt, they made one of the collars, one of the sides of the collar, a different color. So out of every single person in my grade in year 6, I was the only one with a different colored little bit on my shirt. Oh my gosh. Did they not realize how much I would get bullied for that? Why are you going to make me different out of everyone? No, Cleo, condensation. I can't. Why would they do that to a little kid? You don't think they're going to get bullied for that? So that was my first experience of how being fat and the lack of clothing options and the sizing options, that impacted my life. I was picked on for that. And then it was hard. Always being the bigger person is hard enough. But then when they give you a thing that makes you even more different, it's like a target on your back. And it's well, that's fun and fresh. Love that for me. But I guess, being bullied in primary school and high school, it shaped who I am now. So, now I have a podcast. So who really wins this? In the grand scheme of things, who's really the winner? Yeah, me, obviously. No, but yeah, it's rough. It's really rough. I guess that was the first experience of it, but it's been an ongoing theme throughout my whole entire life that I've struggled to find clothes that fit me. So yeah, as I said, once you're a kid and you get big, you outgrow the kids' clothes, you go into the normal adult clothes. And then eventually, I think I was maybe a teenager, maybe 12 or 13, I couldn't shop in the normal adult section. It was getting into the plus size section. And then it was oh shit, now I'm big. So look, it was rough, especially growing into being a queer person who likes fashion and is into fashion and the different sort of things you can do with that. The lack of options in plus size clothing is literally ridiculous. It is ridiculous. They advertise the plus size clothing to older males, dads. Imagine a 40 to 50-year-old dad on a barbecue on a summer diet. That's how they advertise. That's what sort of clothes they advertise in the plus size section. So like polo shirts, plain polo shirts, like 3/4 pants, shorts, like ugly, no patterns, no color. It's like no colors. I mean, it's a solid one tone, one color shirts. It's just like impossible to be able to express yourself. And when you're growing up as a teenager and stuff and in high school, like that's such a big part of your identity is how you dress and how you sort of show who you are. And to me, that wasn't an option. And it's heartbreaking and it's terrible. Like it wasn't fun for me to go clothes shopping like it should be. Clothes shopping still to this day makes me really upset because it reminds me of that, I don't have options. It's definitely easier than it was back then when I was younger because the popularity of online shopping and stuff, there is a lot many more options. But it's ridiculous. And then people want to say, oh, well, why don't you just lose the weight and that sort of thing, which I hear all the time. If you haven't followed me, if you don't follow me on TikTok, follow me at Code and Grewer. And I've made a few videos in the past, maybe like a year or two ago, talking about plus size clothing, trying to find outfits. I think I made a video of like sort of showcasing Kmart's lack of plus size clothing because that's where I used to shop a lot as a kid. And all the comments that I get on that are just like, lose weight. What are you doing, fatty? Kill yourself, fatty. Go lose weight. And it's like, that's all well and good. Like, that's great. If I wanted to do that, I could. But the thing is, what do people wear in the meantime? Yes, being fat can be unhealthy sometimes. And, I should be a bit healthier. A lot of people probably can be a bit healthier. But what do we wear in the meantime? So you're saying to me that because I'm fat, I don't deserve to wear clothes? You're saying I shouldn't have options. I shouldn't be able to wear a nice shirt to go to a party. I shouldn't be able to find festival wear if I wanted to go to a music festival. You're saying that as a fat person, I don't get that. That's what you're trying to say to me when you make comments like that. It's ridiculous and it's disrespectful and it's ignorant. It's really, really ignorant. And I would just say to just be nicer. Like it's not. Like even if they were to step in a gym, if someone's fat and they go, yep, all right, I'm going to lose weight because you told me to and I'm going to do it just because you told me to. What is that person going to wear to the gym? They still need to have options because you saying that they should lose weight doesn't take away that there are people out there that are fat. Like even if they wanted to lose weight, they would still be fat now. They need clothes to wear. And it just makes me so sad that like people have that way of thinking because it's just so ignorant. Like it probably happens for people that are on the other side of the spectrum as well. If they're too small or if they're too thin, they might struggle to find clothes that are in like the adult section. It goes both ways. Sizing should be a lot more inclusive than it is. And I think it's not that hard. I don't think it's that hard to make things extra sizes. Like make them make a bit nicer. Maybe do some research and look at, like the brands need to look at expanding their sizes and do some research of like how many people are plus size, what they would like to wear, what young people might wear as plus size. It's really just heartbreaking to not have those options as a young person. And I would really implore, is that the word? I really want to like encourage the brands to do better. If you're a brand watching this, which, I'm sure a lot of people are watching this, like my third episode of a local podcast that I'm doing, I'm sure all the big brands are watching this, but, in the chance that one actually does do better. Because it's sad, it's heartbreaking, like I've already said, it's really upsetting that I don't have those options. So yeah, I've sort of talked about that. I want to talk about a story a bit more about being plus size and sort of the diet culture and the sort of a story that I've had in the workplace. So I was working in an office environment, amazing office, absolutely loved it. And I was like always just buying lunch at the cafeteria, like a little like food, like food market sort of thing downstairs. Like there's like a big building with heaps of different takeaway options. So I was also like buying food for my lunch and, spending heaps of money because I was like just too lazy to make stuff at home. I was like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to buy lunch at work. And then I was like adding it up on my bank statement. I was like, no, this is costing so much money. Like eating out really does, like I was spending maybe maybe $20 to $25 a day, like on lunch and like a drink or lunch and like a little snack or something like that. And it adds up so fast. Like, you know, when you look through your bank statements and it's like, oh, Uber Eats, how much there? Yeah. And you go through and it's like so much money that you've wasted on like literally nothing. And so I was like, oh, I need to change this. Like I can't keep living like this, right? And it wasn't a health thing. I mean, it probably should have been a health thing, but it was more just like a money thing. Like I don't want to be wasting all this money on like takeaway when I literally just could be bringing stuff from home or like, you know, packing my own lunch. Anyway, so I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a change. And so the next morning I was like, oh shit, what can I take? I sort of forgot about it and didn't like plan a lunch. So I was like, shit, what can I take? Looking through the pantry and I found some 2-minute noodles. Guys, I love 2-minute noodles. I grew up on them. I feel like a lot of people probably do in Australia. Like they're so cheap. They're so like sort of easy to make. And like, I reckon that's probably one of the first things that I got not taught, but like did myself in the kitchen. Like when you're like a kid, you're like, oh, I can make 2-minute noodles. Like it's such like a childhood thing for me anyway. Maybe there's some people who didn't eat as a child and they're rich, but I feel like a lot of like low middle class Australians, they probably had 2-minute noodles a lot. So I was like, I'm going to take 2-minute noodles. So I got a container and like put a couple of 2-minute noodles packets in there. I was like, I'm going to take them for lunch, just put boiling water from the kitchen. And I've got a cheap, really, really cheap lunch. So I do that. I take my lunch to working my normal day as always, working hard or hardly working. And I get my lunch, like my little container out of my bag, and I think one of my co-workers was like, oh, what do you have for lunch? I was like, oh, I've got 2-minute noodles. And then my boss, my team leader, I don't remember the exact words that he used, but he started spieling on about how I shouldn't be eating those and that how bad they are for you. And like all the stuff that's in them and like how it's like bad for your body and stuff like that. And I first sort of like brushed it off. Like I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And then like later that day, like it was really weighing on me a lot and it really made me feel really self-conscious about who I was and what I was bringing into lunch. Like why should I be self-conscious about that? The fact that someone can make me feel like that's messed up. No one should ever be ashamed of like what they're bringing into work. It's like imagine if like someone was like from a different culture and they bring something in that was like not the norm, and like would people comment on that? You know what I mean? Like it's just ridiculous. I don't get it. So yeah, I sort of was really shaken. I was quite taken aback by it, and it made me really, really self-conscious about what I was bringing into work every day. And so instead of, you know, bringing in noodles or bringing in something else every day, I just didn't bring in anything. And because it was like, I felt so self-conscious, especially from a manager, you know, like it's kind of unprofessional looking back on it now for a manager to comment on that sort of thing. And I think as a whole, it really shouldn't matter what I'm eating. It's none of your business what I'm fueling my body with. If I decide to have a salad or if I decide to have 2-minute noodles and a cheeseburger, it's none of your business either way. And I think we really should stop commenting on people's bodies and what people eat. Especially in a workplace, like that's somewhere where you deserve to feel safe, you deserve to feel loved, and for him to just throw that shit out there at me was terrible. He's a terrible manager. That's terrible. And yeah, I think, you know, I hope that they learn from that. I don't know, it's ridiculous. And even I had another co-worker who, my beautiful co-worker, I'm sure she'll probably watch this because we've talked about this podcast, and I hope she's watching this, but she is so beautiful and she's also plus size, and she, you know, like we all do, we love a little snack while we work, and like we all have little snacks, and she has a co-worker that sits next to her that would always grab the snack that she's eating or that she brings in and turn it around and look at like the health, like the statistics or whatever, about how many carbs and sugars and all that shit is in it. So he would go through that and tell her like all how unhealthy it is and saying, oh, that's so bad for you, blah, blah, blah. It's like, what gives you the right? What makes you like president of that for you to even say that comment to someone when like, it's just hard enough sometimes to feed yourself, to bring stuff to work. Like, good on her for even bringing anything to work. Good on me for even taking the initiative to bring in my 2-minute noodles, my 2-minute little mee goreng little noodle packets. Like, fucked. Good on us for bringing in our own food and saving money, or just like not having like really, really bad food. We could have something worse. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, what gives them the right to make that comment when we're just trying to feed ourselves? It makes me really angry that, fat people can't just exist without being ridiculed and questioned and pushed. And obviously that manager that said that stuff to me, he was a very health conscious person. He wouldn't just say that sort of stuff to me. It wasn't particularly because I was fat. He was very health conscious about everything. That's just sort of who he was. But, that's all well and good, but just keep that to yourself. Like, that's your views and your like ideals about your ideologies about that sort of stuff, your opinions. You can keep them to yourself. I don't need them. I'm just trying to survive. Like, the cost of living is insane, and I'm trying to bring in a couple of packets of 2-minute noodles to have a quick and cheap lunch, and you're gonna comment shit like that? I just think it's ridiculous. It really just isn't needed. And I feel like I'm normally a pretty confident person, but for him to like shake my confidence like that, it makes me really upset that even happened. So even like for weeks and weeks, it left me rattled and questioning everything. Made me think, I can't bring anything into work for weeks. And luckily my housemate, who was also my co-worker at the time, sort of snapped me out of it and sort of reminded me that, his opinion doesn't really matter, and that, I shouldn't, be so self-conscious to do that. I'm very grateful for her in that sense that, she really helped me snap me out of it. And then I started, bringing in whatever I wanted to do, because it was like, fuck you. It was, first I was hurt, and then it was like, you know what? Fuck that. Fuck you. So if you're a skinny person, or even if you're a bigger person and you want to comment on the health or look or style of someone, if they're bigger or if they're whatever, if you're going to comment on anything to do with their weight or what they're eating, shut your mouth. Don't. Shut your fucking mouth. It's not needed. It is not needed. You can think whatever you want to think, whatever. Like, you can be mean to them in your head, whatever. But you do not realize the sort of trauma or issues that you can cause for them. And it's, that could make them be, that can make them hurt themselves, or that can make them feel really self-conscious even further, and that could make them even more unhealthy. It could make them spiral. Words are such a powerful thing, and I think especially around weight and stuff like that, and body image, it's a really powerful thing, and little comments like that, although in your own head might not think means a lot, to that person it really does. I think, trying to think of those like moments like that, and little snide comments from anyone about what they're eating or how much you're eating. I think that was like what I used to be self-conscious about a lot, is how much I would eat, and like that feeling of like being scared that you're eating too much and you're like, oh no, people are going to realize that I'm fat. And it's like, bro, like, stop that. So I think I'm definitely improving on that, and I have been for a while, about just trying to remember that it's okay to be plus size. Like, it's okay to exist. You're allowed to take up space. You're allowed to exist as a plus size person. Oh my gosh, especially where this has come up for me a lot lately is when I've been flying. So I still hate flying, obviously, as a plus size person. Oh my gosh, I hate flying. The seats are so small. Even if you're like a typical size person, like average height and like weight or whatever, like the plane seats are still really, really small. Like, and so for me, I feel 10 times fatter when I'm sitting on a plane seat. I'll tell you what. Oh my gosh, I feel like a fucking balloon. I feel so much fucking bigger, and I feel so bad because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna take up space. I'm gonna like be touching the person next to me, and they're gonna hate me, and they're gonna think all this stuff like, oh my gosh, they're gonna think that they got so unlucky getting sat next to the fat person, blah 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 blah. And so for so long, I was like so self-conscious about it, and whenever I would get on the plane, I would book the window seat. I still do that, and I would just squash myself into the corner as much as possible, try to take up any room, and I would never ask to get up to go to the toilet or anything, or get to my bag or anything like that. I'm like, I don't want to be a burden to anyone else any more than I already feel like I am. And so I'm trying to just still coming to terms with the fact that it's okay to be like to take up space. Like I'm allowed to exist in these spaces, and I'm allowed to take up space. I bought this ticket, and yeah, like look, maybe some of my fat rolls, my stomach or my leg might be, you know, leaning against someone else's leg. You know what I'm saying? But that at the end of the day, what, am I not allowed to fly? Like, no, that's fine. And so I'm coming to terms with that. Or even like similar thing to the plane, even being okay asking for a seatbelt extender. When I first started flying, when I first moved to Perth, I was like, I'm not asking for a seatbelt extender. People will know that I'm fat. If like, bro, come on, Coden, look at you. You are fat, and that's okay. So what you're gonna do? Like, I would like be dying. I would have my seatbelt so tight and so sucked in. It was so uncomfortable because I was so scared to ask for a seatbelt extender. Why was I so scared? It was because of all the previous experiences of being told that I'm fat. You know, and that's a bad thing. It was all those things, you know, coming together to form a thought in my brain that, you know, that I shouldn't be asking for that. It's like, oh my gosh, if anyone has seen Inside Out 2, there is a scene, like part of the like movie is where they like, there's a thought that or a feeling, and they take it down to like the back of the brain where it's like it forms the key moments. And so like, it's like that in my brain. So one key feeling, one key moment of someone maybe bullying me in primary school or some sort of thoughts has gone rooted into my brain and made me think that I don't deserve to have a seatbelt extender. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy how that works and how the impact of your words can create things like that. So that was, years ago when I was not asked for a seatbelt extender, and now I am proudly a seatbelt extender person. Go Coden. So every time I sit down on my flight, so I still do book the window seat for my own comfort, but when I do that, I'm not going to fully be, you know, squishing myself as much as possible. I'm going to be, you know, comfortable. I'm going to have, you know, my things out or whatever, like, you know, still in my own space and still being a good, you know, good person to sit next to. You're not taking up extra room, but just, you know, not making myself feel shit about being on the plane and being a fat person on the plane. So get in the window seat, I sit down, I sort of get myself as comfortable as you can be on those tiny ass seats. Let's be real. It's like I'm sitting on a Tic Tac. Literally, I'm sitting on a Tic Tac. That's what it feels like. And then when the flight attendants, whenever they come through to check like something, or whether, you know, they always sort of walk up and down while everyone's sort of getting on, I just say, yeah, excuse me, like, am I able to get a seatbelt extender? And it's not the end of the world. They bring it over to you. No one even looks. Well, not that I've noticed anyway. They might think what they want to think, but that's okay. And at the end of the day, I'm so much more comfortable with that. And yeah, if you're going through that, please don't be afraid to ask for a seatbelt extender. I think you can probably also, if you are a bit self-conscious, like I was about asking for it in front of people, I think you can also talk to them like before you get on the flight, like when they're like calling out, like, oh, like rows 15 to 30, you can now start entering the plane. You might be able to go up to this little service desk and ask them for one. They might bring it over to you on your seat if you want to do that a bit more privately. Or you can also ask them when you are first entering the plane, like when you're entering from the front or the back and they sort of check your ticket and you're like, oh, hey, how you going? That sort of thing. You probably also ask them there, and that will be like in front of like barely any people if you're a bit more self-conscious. But I think another example of that is like, when I first started going clubbing a lot, I was like really like scared of like being too much, because like if you don't know, like if you've never been out to the club with me, I am like obsessed with dancing. That's all I want to do. I love dancing, especially in a club. It is the funnest thing you can do, in my opinion. And I felt so scared for such a long time for taking up space on a dance floor when it's literally like the place where everyone like expresses themselves. Like, Coden, grow the fuck up. Oh my gosh. So yeah, similar to the seat, I'm just not afraid to take up space on the dance floor. I'll elbow a couple bitches if I have to. Seriously, watch out. My elbows will be flying. You might get a kick in the face. I don't know. Like, or you might just get turned on watching me shake my ass. I don't know. It's a dangerous game when I'm on the dance floor. I'll tell you that much right now. And yeah, that's sort of a couple of examples there of, like bringing back to like the power of people's words is that makes me feel a certain way. So bringing that all the way back to what I was saying is that, if you're thinking about commenting on someone's weight or what they're eating, please don't. You need to shut the fuck up. All right. you need to shut the fuck up. You're not important. You're really not. All right. You keep that opinion to yourself. All right, so let's keep this ball rolling about being plus size. Literally rolling, get it? Because like a fat person like is round and they could roll. No, okay. So let's talk about. I want to talk about a little bit. I did my last episode about dating and stuff like that. I didn't really touch on this, but I'll touch about it now. Being plus size and dating. So in the gay world, there's obviously like different tropes or like sort of categories, like probably people already know some like twink and bear and that sort of thing. There's also something like that is very I think it's probably in gay and straight culture, but like a chubby chaser, where like people love people that are fat and like bigger. And there's also like, I don't know if people have heard of like feeding or feeders, and they are people who want to be with someone they can feed and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. They want to like keep getting them bigger and like stretching them. It's really, really weird. You know, if that's what you're into, that's fair enough. I'm not gonna, shame that, but it's not something that I'm into, and I want to sort of talk about a brief experience that I've had with it. So someone on Grindr, just like talking back and forth, he was like, oh, what's your Snapchat? Like, I want to add your Snapchat. So I gave him my Snapchat. We started talking back and forth on there, just like the normal stuff, like, hey, like, I think you're really cute, blah, 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 like just sending some photos. And then he goes, oh, I love your big belly. What's your goal weight? And I was like, sorry, what? What are you talking about? He's like, oh, like, do you have a goal weight? Like, how big do you want to get? And I was like, this is weird. This is weird. I was like, oh, I'm not really interested in getting any bigger. Like, I would want to get healthy at some point. I'm not trying to lose weight right now, but I don't want to, like, I do want to lose weight eventually. And he was like, oh, okay. Like, I would love to like feed you and get you bigger and stuff like that. And he was starting to sound really, really gross. And I was like, I hadn't really heard of any of this before. And he was like, I was like, what the hell? So like sort of looked it up and sort of found out about people that are the feeders, and they want to like he wanted like a video of me eating food and stuff like that. And he was like obsessed with like my belly and my belly button. And it was really, 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 really creepy. And then he said something that, I can't remember the exact words that he used, but it was like the final straw, that what he said to me, and then from there I blocked him because I could not deal with him anymore, because it gave me a really weird like head spin, like made me question. I was like, oh wait, maybe that's something that I should do. Maybe that's like, oh, should I do that? Maybe that's what I want. And it was like really, really weird. And I was like, anyway, so the thing that he said, I don't remember the exact words, but it was something along the lines of, I want to feed you so much until you're immobilized, or something that immobilization, something like that. So like he wanted to feed me until I literally could not do anything on my own. And like, that is just, to me, that is fucking disgusting. Like, that is just not, oh, what the fuck? Like, that is weird as hell. It's like, look, if you're someone that wants to do that, that's your own choice. I'm not gonna like, actually, I am going to. Fuck that. That's fucking gross. Fuck you. No, fuck you. No, seriously, fuck you. I don't want to kink shame, but I'm kink shaming. I just think it's disgusting. Like, I don't think that, like, I'm not going to preach about health. Like I said, I don't think we should comment on people's body weight. But I personally, for myself, do not want to be so big that I'm immobilized or could, like, have, like, a lot of issues with my health and stuff like that. I don't want to get bigger. I don't want to do that. So, yeah, that was really weird. I just don't, like, he was fetishizing. I can't say that word right now. He was fetishizing. I can't say it. But yeah, he was like I'm not like that. Like, if you like me, whatever, if you like a bigger person, that's fine. But like, I'm not into that sort of thing. I don't want to be like that. And so I blocked him, right? End of story. That's all good and well, you meet someone, you block him, that's all good, on to the next one, right? Anyway, so I blocked him on Snapchat, keep living my life normally, and then I have about 2 or 3 other guys that message me, that added me on Snapchat, and start sending me like flirty messages, like, hey, how you going? Like, like, hey, like, you're really cute, blah, 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 'cause like we were Snapchatting back and forth sort of thing. And I was like, what the hell, like, how did these guys find me anyway? Anyway, they all started like saying very, very similar things to what the other guy was saying. And I was like, what the fuck? This guy has gone and like spread my Snapchat, probably on some like public forum, like Reddit or something like that, some sort of like website for the feeders. And so I had like 3 or 4 people messaging me and all saying very similar stuff, like they want to feed me and they want to do this and that and this and that. And I was like, what the fuck? It was scary. Anyway, I blocked them all. It was fine in the end. Like, it's, you know, it's fine. It was just, yeah, it was really, really creepy. And I was like, this is not what I want to, like, I don't want to be someone's fetish. I don't want my size to be the only thing that I'm worth. Like, that's not who I am. That doesn't define me. And it was just really weird to be like, to be looked at and thought about like that. I don't know how to explain it. It was just like, this is not how I want to be living my life. I don't want to be someone's like little thing that they feed, like a little pet, and like get bigger and like, oh gosh, it really fucked with me a little bit. I was like, ugh. And then like, if you watch my last episode, I was sort of touching about how certain things made me question my self-worth and stuff like that. And this was another thing that sort of made me question my self-worth and was like, so people don't want me because I'm big, but then these people want me only because I'm big. Huh. It was a bit of a weird head spin, like, because you're told your whole life that you're not wanted because you're fat. And then all of a sudden these people are like taking that to the complete opposite end of the spectrum, where it's like, we only want you because you're fat and we want you to get fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter. It's like, whoa, it really fucks with my head. It was like, ooh, I don't know about this. Like, I don't like this. So yeah, I don't want to be someone's fetish. I don't want my weight to define who I am. It doesn't define who I am. I am plus size. But I'm me. Like, I'm still myself. You know, it's an aspect of my life that, you know, it does come into a lot of it. Like, being plus size does influence a lot of my life, but it's not who I am. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, I just don't think that should be the one thing that people focus on, whether it's in finding a partner or whether it's in, you know, commenting on someone's lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, leave fat people alone. That's not our identity. You know, it's a characteristic, it's a trait. It's a physical attribute, but it's not who I am. It doesn't define who I am, and what my values are doesn't change anything about me like that. So yeah, I just want you guys to, everyone, just leave fat people alone. Let them eat the cake. Let them, like, what the hell, man? Leave them alone. Let's just let them be. If you're someone that's currently struggling with your weight, I feel you. I've been there. You know, if you want to lose weight, do that. You know, go to your GP or, you know, whoever, and find some advice and get some help. That's what you want to do. If you are happy with your weight, like I currently am, like I'm not like, I don't love that I'm plus size. I love who I am, and that includes being plus size, but I don't love my weight, so I probably will want to try to lose weight eventually. But right now I'm pretty content with how my life looks. You know, it's something that I'm not focusing on right now. So if you are plus size and you don't want to lose weight right now, that's fine, because you are allowed to live in your body. You're allowed to be a human and have fun and love and be loved and have experiences and sit on an airplane and go dance at a club and do anything you want, no matter what size you are, no matter, you know, if you've got any other physical limitations or whatever. You know, you're allowed to do what you want. And then if you're someone that's skinny and you want to hate on fat people, just don't, shut the fuck up, and you're not important to anyone. So yeah, that's like the main things that I wanted to talk about being plus size. I do have one word of the week, which I need to look it up, so bear with me. But I'm still reading this book about racism and how to be a better white person. Like I did touch on it last episode. If you're needing a book to read, I would definitely go and do that. Also, go to your local library. I can't even, so right now I'm recording this, and all my previous episodes, I've recorded it at the Warrnambool Library, which I've signed up, and they have a sound booth here with all this amazing equipment that is free to use. And even if you don't like books, if you want to do something else, maybe go to your library, see what services they can provide, because this podcast wouldn't be possible without that. And one of my friends who recorded some music here sort of showed me about it. So it's really, really cool. And one thing I didn't know about is that they have like an app, like the Warrnambool Library has like an app or like there's an app that they're sort of linked in with called Borrow Book, and you can like access all their, I don't know if it's all of their, but a lot of their library books, you can get it for free in audiobooks or ebooks on the app. So like you can like borrow books without even having to go into the library. So I've been reading books on my phone, and like obviously I feel like maybe your phone light isn't always the best for your sleep and stuff, but I'm always reading before bed on my phone, and it's just really convenient. Although it's probably not the best thing, it's really helping me read more because of how convenient. You've always got your phone on you, so if you've got like 5 minutes on the bus or the train, you can just like read a couple of pages. So shout out to the Warrnambool Library for that. And I've read 2 books about gay boys, and then this one's I'm reading is a non-fiction book about how to be a better white person. And one of the words that was used in this book was the word monolith. Now, I've heard the word before. I still didn't really know exactly what that means, monolith. It's like, I don't know, but I'm going to look it up right now and we can learn together, because at the end of the day, reading is what? Fundamental. Shout out RuPaul's Drag Race. But no, I think like it's always better to like educate yourself. I'm trying to read more books to learn more words and be able to articulate myself more, especially when I'm recording a podcast where I want to be able to describe and explain things in a more proper way, proper English. Be a monolith. So there's a couple different definitions for the word monolith. I've got a large single upright block of stone, especially one shaped into or serving as a pillar or monument. Now, I don't think this book was talking about a rock when they were describing or using this word, so I don't think it's that. But the other definition is a large, impersonal, political, corporate, or social structure regarded as indivisible and slow to change. So the example is, independent voices have been crowded out by the media monoliths. Whoa, that's deep. That's deep. So a corporate, political, or social structure regarded as indivisible. What does that mean? Indivisible. To be divided or separated. Oh no, unable to be divided by another number except... Girl, my brain's already hurting. So indivisible, unable to be divided by another number exactly without leaving a roommate. Oh, so it's not able to be divided properly, equally. Okay, so monolith. Guys, this is a hard word of the week. I don't even know how to describe it. I don't even know how to use it into a sentence. And I guess it's a structure, a political, corporate, or social structure that is not able to be divided and is slow to change. Huh. Well, that's good, I guess. This is a really boring word of the week. I like my previous words where I was talking about sex books. Maybe I should go back and read some nonfiction. So guys, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. I've only been recording for 40 minutes, so when I edit it down, it might be a little bit less, but that's okay. If you guys have any ideas for podcasts, anything that you want me to talk about, anything that, would be that you want my opinion on, let me know. Message me on my socials. At the Clinical Waste Podcast at Clinical Waste Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, or my personal TikTok, Code and Brewer, add me as well, and let me know what everyone's thinking. If you have any advice, if you have any questions, if you have any topics you want me to discuss, let me know. Coming up, I've got some episodes that I want to talk about. I want to talk about grief. I'm going to be talking about that with my sister. Little couple of episodes with some family and friends. So I'm talking about grief. That's coming up with my sister. And then I want to talk about friendship and the power of friendship. So I've got one of my best friends coming to speak about that as well. And then I've also got an episode dedicated to music, probably coming up soon as well, where I want to talk about sort of some of the best songs that have shaped my life, and also a concert that I went to as well. So stay tuned for all of that. Like I said, reach out to me on all my socials. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I really appreciate you for getting this far. And yeah, I love ya. Bye.